Let's talk about the biggest shortcut and the biggest accelerator. And that one is plant medicine. Plant medicine can facilitate the full healing process, all the stages I mentioned, from understanding what the wounding is, all the way to the rewiring. And actually, it's the fastest way to rewire your system. Your work with plant medicine, as you understand by now, cannot be one-off. So you need to tell yourself, okay, the next few years, I'm healing myself, and I'm gonna take the fast path. And now you engage with proper work, and then you can let go of it. You don't need it at some point. But there is a stage that you wanna create a fast-track process, which is the thick of the healing process. And those are the 5 stages I was talking about. It has to include support in between, because the plants themselves, they don't heal. They help you heal. You have to heal yourself, and that, as you understand now, it's a complicated process. So guidance can shorten the process. Not mandatory, but shorten the process. Now, to understand how plants work, we need to understand the groups of plants. And generally, there are 2 buckets, and between those 2 buckets, there are 4 categories. And the 4 categories are body, which is most of the Chinese medicine. That's the bucket of the Chinese medicine plants. Mind, plants like cannabis, that's a mind medicine. Spirit, which is mushroom or ayahuasca and those kind of plants. And heart, which recently MDMA made a lot of headlines because it's in the process of getting legalized. And MDMA is a lab imitation of a compound called sassafras that's produced from a bark of a tree. There's many others like white lily, like canna, many others. There are thousands of plants in each category. Now, some plants, they have multiple categories. They sit in between, like Wachuma or San Pedro. That's heart and spirit and body. So they have some components. There's all kinds of variations on it. Now, trauma, as you understand now, includes the closure of the heart. And because we don't remember, because it happens early in life, we need to reintroduce how it feels, because we're experiential learners. So any healing process has to include, to take effect in your day-to-day, has to include that component. Otherwise, the rubber has a hard time meeting the road. Now, the process of healing is all about re-establishing the connection with our own heart, right? So you have to engage in that process. Now, this brings me to talk about the 2 buckets I mentioned. Ally plants and teacher plants. Ally plants generally are the body and the heart plants. Teacher plants are generally the mind and the spirit plants. What does that mean? The ally works with you. It gives you an experience that you feel comfortable with, that heals you. The teacher plant gives you the aha moment, the understanding, generally. Obviously, I'm simplifying. Now, like any teaching, you want the student to be receptive to the teaching. So you need to create the ground. So you need to create some alliance and then give the teaching. This is why working only with teacher plants actually at some point slows down the process, because it creates also resistance when the teaching comes too harsh. This is why mushrooms alone or ayahuasca alone, it slows you down actually. Unfortunately, many people that engage in this world, they know plants, but they don't understand human consciousness. So they don't create the right setup for healing and for healing to take effect in the day-to-day life. There's a big difference between an experience, a wow experience, and changing your life. Those are not the same. So when you work, you need to evaluate how you get yourself to a process, if you want to transform your life, that actually is relatable in your day-to-day, and you can transform your day-to-day, because that's what you're trying to transform, to improve. Now, in the rewiring process, and this is why plants, some plants, not all of them, are very powerful, in that process, we want to create new neural pathways, new habits, new behaviors, new ways of showing up in our life. The way to do that is to kill certain pathways and to generate new ones. That's called elasticity, because the brain becomes elastic, it changes, it transforms. Some of the plants create enhanced elasticity. When the elasticity is enhanced, what it means is that you, in that time frame, you can change habits faster. What normally would take you months will take you weeks or even sometimes days, depends on the habit. So now that happens after you use plant medicine, not during. So you need to know how those things works and which type of plants do what to create an experience that serves as an accelerator. One of the risks, in many cases, and it happens very often on ayahuasca, is that it brings up the trauma and people relive the trauma, but it's not reliving the trauma with the mindset and the setup to release it. So they just get triggered. And that's actually enhances the trauma. So it's very, very risky. Now, all in, the fastest accelerator on this path of healing and growth that is known, at least to me, and I believe to many that deal with it, is plant medicine, but only when done safely and right.